also an active participant in open source, Java, for those of you who use it and are familiar with it. So been a big fan, was instrumental in open sourcing Java, have participated in the W3C as part of the programs and chaired the SVG working group. So it's great to be back with the open source community as part of OpenSearch. And so let's kick it off by talking a little bit about OpenSearch, which is what I'm actually here to talk about. So AWS created and started a project called OpenSearch, and I want to talk about how it grew based on the community of developers, software developers, and enthusiasts who not only kicked off the project, but continue to really foster the growth of the search community and help us innovate on this great search and analytics platform. So when you think about AWS, most people think of AWS as fabulous infrastructure to run your open source projects on. And that is still true, by the way. It is a great infrastructure to run your open source projects on. However, I'm here to tell you that we are way, way more than that. And over the past several years at AWS, we have really doubled down on our investment in open source communities and fostering growth, etc. And it's getting noticed by partners, customers, and the open source community altogether. In fact, we have incubated several projects, including OpenSearch, obviously, and then BottleRocket, FreeRTOS, there's several of them here that you can see on your screen, Babelfish for PostgreSQL, and much, much more. We have also contributed, and you heard Gabriele talk about Valkey, we've done that. We have Linux, OpenJDK as well, OpenTelemetry, several different projects that we are part of. We've also created within AWS the Open Source Program Office, which helps us grounded in our founding principles of open source, and then it also helps us think through before we participate in projects so that we ensure, we want it to be secure, enterprise ready, etc. So AWS created OpenSearch a little over 3 years ago, and the intent was to offer the only open source search platform that is secure, enterprise ready, and innovative for the long-term horizon. And most importantly, it's free to use and resell forever. These guiding principles that you see behind me on the screen here are still true today and have powered us forward in everything we do around the projects. Now, OpenSearch thrived based on these founding principles, as you can see, and we've seen tremendous growth over the last several years with the community participation on these projects. We've seen an acceleration in new features and functionality, and in fact, since July 2021, we've had 2 major releases and 19 minor releases. And we are really super proud and consider this a very successful vendor-sponsored open source project. Now, OpenSearch quickly grew and became one of AWS's largest open source project. Getting the two open source and search, big stuff. And this is a first for us, by the way. We have in fact launched independent brand books. We publish our roadmaps on GitHub. And then we've launched also social channels, a website. And then we're also holding public triage meetings for both code, security, and other topics. And then here's another one. We've created a public Slack channel so that the community can actually collaborate and do things together. And by the way, this is a big departure for AWS, from the norm at AWS. We've really learned how to compromise and collaborate with the community, not because it's the easy thing to do, but because it's the right thing to do. And the results are consistently high interest and growth from innovation, contributions, etc. In fact, our views on our digital destinations have accelerated, and we see a lot of growth. And prolific contributors have become maintainers. And in fact, today, double-digit percentage of maintainers on OpenSearch are not working at AWS. I know it's a little bit of a vanity metric, but I think it really tells you how invested we are in OpenSearch. And the project downloads have never stopped. In fact, they've continued month over month. And in the last 3 months alone, the number of downloads has far exceeded any 3-month period prior. Also, as of today, we've had 700 million downloads of OpenSearch. And this is the outcome when the community gets together, stays anchored on the founding principles, which I heard Gabriele and others talk about, and really fostered innovation within this project. So as you can tell, we at AWS are super proud of OpenSearch and everything that we have done for the community. And yet, right from the start, the question kept popping up, wouldn't it be better if this were in a nonprofit or at least sponsored by a neutral nonprofit? And at AWS, we always listen to our customers. So, in fact, at OpenSearchCon in 2023, September of last year, we spent about half of our annual partner roundtable discussing this very topic. 2 things came about. 1, OpenSearch is a very successful open source project, and 2, it would benefit from moving to a more vendor-neutral nonprofit. So we listened, and soon we assembled a group of different companies coming together, a combination of contributors, maintainers, partners, and customers, all came together, formed a referendum and a steering leadership committee to discuss what the charter of this new vendor-neutral project could look like. The first meeting was a referendum where we discussed whether it should be transitioned, and then subsequent meetings spun off topics like operations, technical topics, etc. So the result of which, this continued all the way through to this year, by the way. We're still continuing to spin up conversations, and we're still living up to the commitment that you saw previously on the slide behind me, on the founding principles of everything we believe in, to create a secure, enterprise-ready, innovative search and analytics platform that can be run, owned by the community. So with this commitment to the open source community, I am delighted to announce today the OpenSearch Software Foundation, which is the newest project of the Linux Foundation. Honestly, the Linux Foundation was an easy choice for us. Linux Foundation is known for how they manage complex distributed projects in open source and have built a vibrant community around it. So it was an easy choice for us. And they are also trusted by global leaders as the leading open source platform and foundation. And most importantly, the Linux Foundation shares our commitment to everything we believe in open source, and working hand in hand with the community. This move brings a lot of positive outcomes with it, because it's part of now a neutral foundation that will allow more types of organizations to participate and get involved in OpenSearch. We have created a new governing body, a board, and a technical steering committee as well. In fact, I think Slack, Uber, and ByteDance and others are part of it, so we're super excited for this. And we're going to drive this as an open governance for both technical and operations topics. And the benefit of this is Linux Foundation's enablement programs will help us formalize and deliver in areas such as like product training and certification programs, etc. So stay tuned for more of that. And organizations have already joined us. As you can see behind me, several logos of self-managed, both open source builders and contributors, companies who have leveraged OpenSearch and built on top of it, as well as companies that offer consulting and services around that. A big thanks to all of our partners who have joined with us in this OpenSearch Software Foundation. And now the community, all of you own this project, and the community can help us shape this into becoming the best search and analytics platform in open source. And we are super excited to be partnering with the Linux Foundation and leveraging their open source tools, etc. And we never forget that the community is our greatest asset, and I hope you will join, all of you will join us in our journey. I thank you all for being here. Please stop by our OpenSearch booth downstairs if you want to learn more about OpenSearch, but also the OpenSearch Software Foundation. With that, thank you and enjoy the rest of your day here.